call it an urgent warning, I suppose, of sorts that's happened from Elon Musk about AI ending what are known as traditional jobs in the next 3 years. Nick, what is going on with this?
Yeah, Elon had an interview, as we know. Mr. Musk does love his interviews, where he said something along the lines of, you have at most 3 years left to make money by selling your own work. After that, AI will handle most tasks, and paying someone for their time simply won't make sense anymore.
Elon Musk says we have 3 years to get money before AI makes paying for someone's time not worth it. And me as an investor, as someone who's been researching AI, buying AI stocks, I can see where he's going with it. To me, the timeline seems kind of short. I would say more 5 to 10 years, but I'm not Elon. What do I think about this? I feel like ever since AI first came out in 2023, well, the current form, like ChatGPT, that sort of thing, ever since that came out, there has been this rush to implement it. There's been this rush to bring it into businesses. There's been this rush to get tasks automated. And for the past few years, I've been on this channel talking about AI stocks, talking about how it's going to change the world. And now that we're deep in 2026, everything's really starting to take shape. So the easy money in AI was made a couple years ago, back when I was trading Palantir, back when Nvidia went up, for my people who caught Micron, back when Micron went up earlier this year. Those stocks are going to be some of the staples in the future. The Nvidias of the world, the Palantirs, the Microns of the world. We're going to need memory now. We're going to need ontology now. Ontology is the way of organizing the customer's data so they don't get hallucinations with their AI. We're going to need these Nvidia chips. They're saying compute is the new oil. So I feel like for the average person, your first lifeboat, was to buy those stocks. I bought a lot of Palantir, bought a lot of Nvidia. I made money doing that. So I feel like those were the first opportunity to really get money. After that comes the next wave of opportunities and where we still are today. If you have been learning about AI, or you're starting to learn about AI over the past year and a half, a lot of tools have come out, like tools for making video, tools for making games, tools for making audio, tools for creating your own apps. So the world we're moving to is going to be a zero-sum game, but it's going to be a situation where the people on the right side are going to be able to benefit and the people on the left side are going to get crushed. Like, what's going on is, right now, I would say distribution is one of the most important moats right now, because we're coming into an era where everybody can already build their own app. Everybody can already start a business with agents, have agents running the whole business. But most people don't realize it yet. They're hearing about it. They're starting to use ChatGPT. They're starting to use AI, but they don't really know about the full capabilities yet. As time goes on, I feel like these are going to be basic skills, like using Microsoft Word, using Microsoft PowerPoint, knowing how to use a camera, knowing how to video edit a little bit. These are going to be the new future skills, because if we're coming to a world where the jobs aren't going to be as abundant as they were, most people are going to have to start some sort of small business or personal brand in order to make ends meet, in order to survive. So in a world like that, everybody's going to need their own website. Everybody's going to need possibly agents to answer their emails, to follow up with their customers. Eventually, it could even get to the point where people just need agents to run the entire business. And they're already starting to do that with tools like the Grok bot. I was using Hermes agent. They've got one called Buzz from Jack Dorsey at Twitter. But what I want to tell you is, now is not the time to get distracted. Like, the stock market itself, it did decent this year. I think the S&P is at all-time highs, up like 15%. A lot of tech stocks and a lot of AI stocks went into a bear market this year because everybody was scared of Claude. Everybody was thinking that Claude was going to be able to come in and vibe code and replace a lot of these programs. Now, for some companies that will be true, some it won't. So a lot of stocks had a dip this year. That was an opportunity. A lot of them returned to all-time highs. As you know, I hold a lot of Palantir shares. Palantir, I think it went as low as 115 this year. Now it's back up at 180 because these companies aren't going anywhere. And as far as the stock market, a lot of people are starting to hate and wait on a crash because they did not get the Palantirs at 7 and 10. They did not get the Nvidias at the 10, 20, $30 mark. They didn't buy Micron when it was cheap. So they're on the sidelines. And at the same time, you've got companies like OpenAI taking out too much debt. You've got people trying to find the ROI and the return on AI in their business because a lot of companies did overinvest in AI. So how do I feel about Elon's statements going into the coming year, in the coming years? I have two things to say, one for the stock market and one for the real world. For the stock market, what I would tell people is stay down with your tech stocks. Make sure you're diversified though. At this stage, a lot of easy money has been made. There's a lot of structural problems that could hit your portfolio. I do think that we should stay invested in AI stocks, but if we are in a bubble, if a crash does come, that will be the golden opportunity, but it's going to hurt. For example, if we go back to the dot-com bubble, Amazon fell 90-something% during the dot-com bubble, only to rebound and become the next Amazon. Now, do I think it would get that drastic if the AI bubble were to burst? Almost, but not 90%. I could see stocks maybe falling 50, 60, 70% if the AI bubble were to burst, if something was to go wrong with OpenAI's financing, if something was to go wrong with Anthropic's financing. But at that point, that's when you would really want to do research on these stocks. Like, if that were to happen to Palantir, if we were to go into a bubble and Palantir were to crash back down to $20, $30, $40, I would be buying hand over fist. Because unless something changed with the business or Claude actually replaced Palantir or some of these companies for real, I know that these companies are critical to the future. Look at all the innovations we've had since AI first came out. Look at the flock cameras. Everybody's complaining about the flock cameras. That's just AI taking hold. All these things, notice, all these big changes happened after 2023, after ChatGPT release, after late 2022 when ChatGPT came out. And that's what people aren't realizing. Now, for the average person who's out there in the workforce hearing these type of things, what would I tell you to do? Stack all your money, invest all you can in the stock market. You need to invest in the S&P 500 and these tech stocks evenly. Like, I would put 40 to 70% of my money in the S&P, and I would put 30 to 60% of my money in tech stocks, depending on your risk tolerance. I would not want to be exposed to just the indexes alone right now, because if we're in a situation where we could potentially not have as many jobs as we want in 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, I'm going to need some excess gains. I'm going to need more than the 10, 20% that the S&P is going to give me. So I would advise everybody to start looking for alternative sources of income. Find jobs that are AI proof. Like the job I'm working with right now is kind of AI proof. Like, I don't think nothing's going to replace that. Focus on your health and your fitness, because AI can't take that away. And as far as your investments, just stay down. This is crunch time. This is the fourth quarter. We all gonna come back in 3, 4, 5 years, and we're gonna see where we at. There are all types of businesses we can now start with AI that people don't realize. Everybody now has the ability to build their own app and market it. Everybody has the ability to build a marketing company or a newsletter or another type of agency with agents. Any expertise you got, look at how AI can benefit it and expand it. And with that being said, hopefully you can be on the right side of this thing. Hopefully by the time the jobs are gone, you've got clients, you've got distribution, and you've got assets, stocks, real estate, businesses, etc. They're saying the old deal is dead. For my generation, the generation up under me, the younger generation, most of us probably won't have the opportunity to work at one company for 20, 30, 40 years and retire with a pension. That was for the last generation. Unfortunately, for us, we're going to have to eat what we kill out here, and I'm going to be here every step of the way with you. It's your boy Steve from Printing Gang Investments. I'm going to see y'all in the next video.